National Electrical Code Article 547 covers industrial and commercial lighting fixtures. Section 547.5c addresses the location of luminaires. It states that luminaires shall be installed only where they will not be exposed to a hazardous degree of physical damage. Section 547.6 covers wiring. It states that wiring shall be enclosed in raceways. Raceways shall comply with the requirements of Article 300. Section 547.6d covers outdoor luminaires. Outdoor luminaires shall be listed for exposure to the weather or shall be protected by a raintight enclosure. The wiring should be protected from the elements and physical damage by using appropriate raceways or enclosures. The overhead lines should be insulated or protected to prevent accidental contact with uninsulated conductors. The pigtails should be properly insulated and protected from moisture. The wire nut should be watertight and meet the requirements of National Electrical Code Article 300.5. All electrical connections should be made in accordance with the manufacturer's instructions and applicable codes. When dealing with electrical installations, it is crucial to prioritize safety and compliance with the National Electrical Code, which is the standard for safe electrical design, installation, and inspection to protect people and property from electrical hazards. Here are some key considerations for ensuring your campground lighting meets NEC requirements. Firstly, all wiring should be enclosed in approved raceways. Raceways provide physical protection for conductors against damage and environmental factors. Common types of raceways include electrical metallic tubing, otherwise known as ENT, rigid metal conduit, otherwise known as RMC, and rigid polyvinyl chloride conduit, otherwise known as rigid PVC. The choice of raceway depends on the specific application and environmental conditions. Secondly, outdoor luminaires must be listed for exposure to the weather or be protected by a raintight enclosure. This ensures that the luminaires can withstand rain, snow, and other environmental factors without causing electrical hazards. Look for luminaires that are specifically designed for outdoor use and are listed by a recognized testing laboratory, such as Underwriters Laboratories, otherwise known as UL, or Intertic, otherwise known as ETL. Thirdly, all electrical connections should be made in accordance with the manufacturer's instructions and applicable codes. This includes using the correct wire size, connectors, and splicing methods. Wire nuts should be watertight and listed for use in wet locations. Consider using heat shrink tubing or other approved methods to seal connections from moisture. Fourthly, overhead lines should be insulated or protected to prevent accidental contact with uninsulated conductors. This is especially important in areas where people may come into contact with the lines. Use insulated conductors that are rated for outdoor use and are properly supported and secured. Fifthly, the pigtails, which are short wires used to connect luminaires to the main wiring, should be properly insulated and protected from moisture. Use insulated wire that is rated for the voltage and current requirements of the circuit. Secure the pigtails to the luminaires and the wiring with approved connectors. Sixthly, all electrical equipment should be properly grounded to provide a path for fault current to flow back to the source. This helps to protect people from electric shock and prevent equipment damage. Use a grounding electrode system that meets the requirements of NEC Article 250. Seventhly, ensure that all electrical work is performed by qualified personnel who are familiar with the NEC and local electrical codes. A qualified electrician can assess the situation, provide recommendations, and perform the work in a safe and code-compliant manner. Eighthly, regularly inspect the electrical system to identify any potential problems. Look for damaged wiring, loose connections, and signs of water damage. Address any issues promptly to prevent electrical hazards. Ninthly, Article 300 of the National Electrical Code contains general requirements for wiring methods and materials. This article covers topics such as wiring in raceways, underground installations, and protection against physical damage. It is important to be familiar with the requirements of Article 300 to ensure that your electrical installations are safe and code compliant. Tenthly, Article 547 of the National Electrical Code provides specific requirements for agricultural buildings. This article covers topics such as wiring methods, equipment grounding, and equipotential planes. If your campground has any agricultural buildings, it is important to be familiar with the requirements of Article 547. 11thly, in addition to the NEC, there may be local electrical codes that apply to your campground. These codes may be more stringent than the NEC and may include additional requirements. Check with your local electrical inspector to determine the applicable codes for your area. 12thly, consider using energy-efficient lighting technologies to reduce energy consumption and save money. Light-emitting diode, otherwise known as LED, lighting is a good option for campground lighting because it is energy-efficient, long-lasting, and requires minimal maintenance. 13thly, install photocells or timers to automatically turn the lights on and off. This can help to save energy and reduce light pollution. Make sure that the photocells or timers are rated for outdoor use and are properly installed. 14thly, use shielded luminaires to reduce glare and light trespass. Shielded luminaires direct the light downwards, which helps to improve visibility and reduce light pollution. Make sure that the shielded luminaires are properly installed and aimed. 15thly, consider using motion sensors to turn on lights only when they are needed. This can help to save energy and reduce light pollution. Motion sensors are a good option for areas where people only pass through occasionally. 16thly, make sure that the lighting is adequate for the intended use. The amount of light needed will depend on the size of the area, the type of activity that will be taking place, and the age of the people who will be using the area. Consult with a lighting professional to determine the appropriate level of illumination. 17thly, avoid overlighting areas. Overlighting can waste energy, create glare, and contribute to light pollution. Use only the amount of light that is necessary for the intended use. 18thly, be aware of the potential impact of your lighting on wildlife. Light pollution can disrupt the natural behavior of animals such as birds and insects. Use shielded luminaires and avoid overlighting areas to minimize the impact of your lighting on wildlife. 19thly, regularly maintain your lighting system to ensure that it is operating properly. Replace burned-out bulbs, clean luminaires, and repair any damage to the wiring or fixtures. Proper maintenance will help to ensure that your lighting system is safe, efficient, and long-lasting. 20thly, keep records of all electrical work that is performed on your campground. This includes records of permits, inspections, and repairs. These records will be helpful if you ever need to provide documentation to an electrical inspector or insurance company. 21st, consider using a surge protector to protect your electrical equipment from power surges. Power surges can damage sensitive electronic equipment such as computers, televisions, and appliances. A surge protector can help to protect your equipment from damage. 22nd, be aware of the potential for lightning strikes. Lightning strikes can damage electrical equipment and cause fires. If you live in an area that is prone to lightning strikes, consider installing a lightning protection system. 23rd, make sure that all electrical equipment is properly labeled. This includes labeling circuit breakers, disconnect switches, and outlets. Proper labeling will help to ensure that people can safely operate and maintain the electrical system. 24th, keep a copy of the NEC on hand for reference. The NEC is a valuable resource for anyone who is involved in electrical work. You can purchase a copy of the NEC from the National Fire Protection Association, otherwise known as NFPA, or from a local bookstore. 25th, attend continuing education courses to stay up to date on the latest electrical codes and safety practices. Continuing education courses can help you to improve your skills and knowledge and ensure that you are providing safe and code-compliant electrical services. 26. Always follow the instructions provided by the manufacturers of electrical equipment. The manufacturer's instructions provide important information about how to safely install, operate, and maintain the equipment. Failure to follow the instructions could result in damage to the equipment or injury to personnel. 27th. Never work on electrical equipment unless you are qualified to do so. Electrical work can be dangerous, and it should only be performed by qualified personnel who are familiar with the NEC and local electrical codes. If you are not qualified to perform electrical work, hire a qualified electrician to do the job. 28. Always to energize electrical equipment before working on it. This means turning off the power to the equipment at the circuit breaker or disconnect switch. Before energizing the equipment, use a voltage tester to verify that the power is off. 29th. Wear appropriate personal protective equipment, otherwise known as PPE, when working on electrical equipment. This includes safety glasses, gloves, and footwear. PPE can help to protect you from electric shock, burns, and other injuries. 30th. Use insulated tools when working on electrical equipment. Insulated tools can help to protect you from electric shock. Make sure that the tools are in good condition and that the insulation is not damaged. 31st. Work in a well-lit area when working on electrical equipment. Good lighting will help you to see what you are doing and avoid mistakes. If necessary, use a portable work light to provide additional illumination. 32nd. Keep the work area clean and organized when working on electrical equipment. A clean and organized work area will help you to avoid accidents and make it easier to find the tools and materials you need. 33rd. Be aware of the potential for arc flash. Arc flash is a dangerous electrical explosion that can cause serious burns and other injuries. If you are working on electrical equipment that could be subject to arc flash, wear appropriate arc-rated clothing and equipment. 34th. Follow safe work practices when working on electrical equipment. This includes avoiding distractions, keeping your hands away from energized parts, and using the correct tools for the job. Safe work practices will help you to avoid accidents and injuries. 35th. If you are unsure about how to perform a task safely, ask for help. There is no shame in asking for help, and it is always better to be safe than sorry. A qualified electrician can provide you with guidance and assistance. 36. Remember that electricity can be dangerous, and it should always be treated with respect. By following these safety tips, you can help to prevent electrical accidents and injuries. This video provides a general overview of electrical safety and code compliance. It is not intended to be a substitute for professional advice. Always consult with a qualified electrician or other qualified professional before performing any electrical work. Improperly wired lighting can create significant hazards, including electrical shock and fire. Therefore, addressing these issues promptly and correctly is essential for maintaining a safe campground environment. Regular inspections, adherence to the National Electrical Code, and the involvement of qualified electricians are crucial for ensuring the safety and reliability of your campground's electrical system.